Good morning to you, my friends, wherever you may be in the world today. August 16th, 2021. Alan Clements here from the island of Maui, the middle of the Pacific, global Earth. Today's talk, in this time of complexity, the stirring of creativity. In this time of complexity, the stirring of creativity. A short personal sharing. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. And may I encourage you to occupy that place in your heart, your life, your reason to be human. And may these talks together share and nurture and evolve, for lack of better terms, your Dhamma, your Dharma. I use that word to point to the constituents of your chosen engagement, the constituents of your chosen engagement, states of engagement, mind state, creation, formations to transform consciousness from greed, anger, and delusion into beauty, loving kindness, compassion, wonderment, awe, freedom, and compassion, to use our freedom, to use our Dharma, to support the well-being of our fellow sisters and brothers, known and unknown, near and far, of our own ethnicity and language base, and those different than our own, relatives based on birth as humans, relatives embedded in a global democracy and a responsibility to the constituents of democracy, relatives in Dhamma, relatives in Dharma, relatives in a spiritualization of the cosmos larger than spiritual categorization, a unity, a spirit, a numismatic, a reason, a raison d'etre, an existential willingness to participate in the best of ourselves, Dhamma. From my heart to yours, thank you for tuning in. In this time of complexity, the stirring of creativity, the world is tragically observant, watching of the fall of Afghanistan, the utter collapse of Kabul, the presidential palace being occupied by the Taliban, the airport, thousands of people, Afghans, Americans, Europeans, fleeing for their lives, an exodus. And to think of the refugees going into Iran, into Pakistan, the horror, the unspeakable horror of being left behind to be the recipients of a form of violence that's beyond comprehension. $2 trillion of our hard-earned tax dollars over 20 years to participate in a forever war. The folly, the stupidity, the craziness of these politics. How stupid can a government be? How stupid can a population be? And here we witness around the world today, in modern terms, the horror and the fall of Afghanistan. The boys and girls now living under the incredible evil tyranny, very much like in Burma under Maysak, Ming Online and the State Administration Council, the Taliban, the evildoers. It's beyond. And to think of the people who have lost their lives there, the Americans, the Europeans, the Canadians, the Australians, the Afghans, it's beyond. And many of you know too that I have recently gone to the hospital here on the island of Maui, where I've gotten a second echocardiogram and more recently, as of yesterday, a CTA heart scan, which illuminates that which one can't see through nuclear radiation and laser. It's amazing to me to enter these places of medical wisdom, and I was getting this nuclear test that's potentially not only damaging to the mind and the body, it's lethal. A lethal test to illuminate what's been told to me of a fatal heart disease so that I can possibly get an exemption from a potentially fatal vaccination to prevent getting catastrophic degrees of an infection that may end up in death with COVID, so that I can live a few more years and die within the apocalypse of human-generated extinction and or heart disease or who knows what. And the perversity of this type of craziness, it's this really kind of a psycho cluster crap fuck. And I'm thinking, like, what in the hell am I doing? And I'm thinking about the people around the world and the pornography and the weaponization of the concept of Delta. And I have friends in Byron Bay where there's just one gentleman who's left Sydney with his kids and came up to the Shire. And the entire region is locked down. My friends are telling me the police are enforcing a stay-at-home order. It's like, what in the hell has gone wrong here on planet Earth? The tripling down on authoritarianism in the face of this pandemic. And it's like it's getting from complexity to a tsunami of uncertainty, to the point where being uninvited because you're unvaxxed is a common thing that I hear over and over again with men and women who are single dads or parents, and equally with friends I know. The divide is becoming all the more crazy and clear. And based upon the who knows whatness outcome of the CTA scan, and having the last couple of nights rather extreme symptoms, which, quite frankly, so be it. Come what may, so be it. It's my attitude. I have chosen not to have surgery. Come what may, so be it. But the symptoms, some symptoms, I don't know how to translate, but the symptoms are there. And so I decided yesterday to enter a very difficult process, this thing called 5 wishes. I recommend that you get a copy online or somewhere and fill it out. The person I want to make care decisions for me when I can't. The kind of medical treatment I want or don't want. And it's a challenge. Talk about reading the Pali Canon. Talk about reading the Bible. It's a challenging 5 wishes to enter, but a powerful process for me to essentially state one very clear fact. I want to die in dignity. I don't want any intervention. I want no memorial. I want no ceremony. I want no donations. I want no announcement. Let it be known. I just want to quietly go when that moment goes in peace. But it brought up for me, and it's coming to the last half of this personal sharing this morning, this abiding theme for me of in the going, when it gets really rough and tough, when you're up against the edge of yourself and the world, when the envelope gets tighter, the pressure increases. Each of us are called to speak to our own heart and our own source and our own maker, if you will. And we must cry in response to the truth of who we are, whatever that truth may be. And for me, I keep hearing in my heart, rise up in your creative power. You are a voice of change. What is that voice? And I'm thinking like, is it Nina Simone who said, I hope the day comes when I will be able to sing more love songs. That's it. I hope the day comes when I can sing or be able to sing more love songs, when the need is not so urgent to sing protest songs. But for now, I don't mind, she said. But for now, I don't mind. When the need is not so urgent to sing protest songs, I'd rather sing love songs. But for now, I don't mind, she said. But for now, I don't mind. And I keep hearing that. What is, okay, this is it. Like Arundhati Roy, the great Indian writer. The role of the writer is to write. The role of the writer is to be unpopular. I mean, it's like it sounds good, but do you really want to be unpopular? Yeah, like what needs to be said right now? What is your protest? What is your protest song? I remember back in the Vietnam era when I was in high school and my first years of university, being in a military family and a brother that was 4 years older who was in a military academy. There was a lot of pressure on us based upon the United States draft, a mandate, draft mandate, murder mandate. Now we're dealing with vaccination mandates. There was a murder mandate on us. And if you did not abide by the constitutional demand of the White House to be drafted based upon various conditions and to go to Vietnam, to KILL, to commit RAWAR, kill war, war kill, kill war. That was the mantra of my high school. That was the juxtaposition of our acid trips and our dancing to Hendrix and The Who. It was all about, no, we don't want to kill man. We don't want to kill man. No, I don't want that vax, man. I don't want that vax. We want the sovereignty of our choice, the creative possibility. So I'm rising up last night, with these symptoms and writing this damn 5 wishes. What is your creative rage? Where's your Nina Simone? What's your protest song? Yeah, you want to go to peace and equilibrium, and you want to have a loving, romantic, erotic, ubuntufied nibbanification, all those flowery words. No, you're at war, man. This is a war. This is a protest song. What's your creativity? This is the way I get to my creativity, and I keep thinking of Nina. Being born again and again, grace on grace, the glory of an open heart, honesty, heartache, and wholeness, being born again and again and again, grace on grace, the glory of an open heart, honesty, heartache, and wholeness. These are words that come to me, words that have been said by many people around the world, singers, musicians, theologians, artists, savants, writers, filmmakers. I'm thinking of my conversation recently with this new friend of mine, Dennis Gassner, a very prominent savant, a creator, a production designer on numerous films, Oscar-winning. And we've been talking, he's been very helpful to catalyze male friend to male friend, catalyzing the more embedded creative artifacts of your protest. My Dharma is infinitely connected, especially to Burma, with Aung San Suu Kyi, my friend and friends being imprisoned and likely spending the rest of their lives, and my own former friend in Mandalay, who was the mayor of Mandalay, now is is in COVID, severe COVID, gonna die likely. And it's like, what? It's so easy to get angry, but you gotta turn that anger, Alan. You gotta turn that rage, Alan. You gotta turn your Nina Simone, Alan. You gotta be born again and again and again. What is your outrage? You know, we've got a mountain here of Haleakala. There's fire in it. Where's your fire? Don't just go down with 5 wishes and think you're gonna die. What's your statement? What's your statement? I keep thinking, this is the way that I talk to myself. This is the way that I get closer and closer. This is how I do yoga. This is how I meditate. I talk to myself. I talk to myself. I'm trying to get closer and closer in on what it is that wants to come out. Because all we are people that emote emotions. The Buddha talked about the Dhamma. He was on fire with his realization. That's the way that I read it. You may equate the realization with peace, but there's been a lot of fire that had to come down in order to get deeper into the recesses of his own delusion and to melt out of that delusion, the rock of moha. He had to go into volcanic fire to create the wisdom out of the rock. And that's where I'm at today. Every force in the world wants to confine, chain, imprison, stay at home, be defined by lies and pornography and politics and vaccinations and Delta and spikes and all kinds of crap. Everyone wants you to not behave in the way that you want to behave based on your terms of integrity. No, I don't want to put that damn needle in my body. It's not because I'm anti-vax, because I want to have a choice when I want to have a choice to do what I want to fucking do. I'm a Buddhist, you know, that we have precepts against taking intoxicants that cloud and diminish consciousness. Got a friend right up the street here who told me of a friend of hers who owns a restaurant. Put in the Johnson & Johnson, a 50-year-old, incredibly healthy woman, just owns a restaurant right up the street here. Told her husband, I've got pain in my leg, took her to the hospital. They found a clot, they cut her leg off, and the hospital told her, we cannot save your life. They rented a Learjet with everything they've got, flew her to Stanford, cut the rest of her leg off. I think I'm going to get the vaccination because it's for the betterment of the world. That's a pretty serious clot that led to amputation and death. And it's like, hey, listen, I'm not anti-vax, but very much I was anti-war in high school and college. I didn't want to go kill, but it was mandated. Mandate to kill. How many times we did acid? How many times we walked on the beach in the ocean and listened to the waves and communed with the moon and the God and the stars and our souls and our tears and our music and cried out, we do not want to kill. We don't want to be maimed. We want to love. We want to dance. We want to live in freedom. We want to live in the unity of our hearts. We want to thrive. We don't want to protect America from a propagandist lie. It was a lie. Where is Vietnam? Who are these people? What are we doing over there? Why do we need that thing in our arm when it's proven to be that you can still get infected and you can pass on the virus to others, and there's serious side effects that are mounting? All I want to do is study the data. What's wrong with that? And so I'm trying to weave all these things together, from 5 wishes, which is mandated, a will, waiting for this damn results to get an exemption letter if I'm lucky, basically being told that your fucking aneurysm is beginning to dissect. That's why you're coughing the way you are. That's why you've got pain in your chest the way you are. That's why you're a little bit out of breath when you walk the way you are. That's why. And all of that's why comes with a high degree of prediction of suffering and mortality and of death and of pain. And it's like, you know, I'm not going to participate in that narrative. No. I'm not going to give in to fear right now. I'm going to do my Nina Simone. I hope the day comes when I will be able to sing more love songs, when the need's not so urgent to sing my protest song. But for now, I don't mind. But for now, I don't mind. Use your voice. What will it be? So I was talking to Dennis, and I said, Dennis, that advice you gave me of finding one word, one, not 2, 3, not one, only one, he said. What is the one word that defines the story that you want to share as your Nina Simone protest song in this world, as an expression of Burma's revolution of the spirit, so that if you go down with the ship of mortality, which we all will, you will have made a protest love song that's so rad, which is the last quarter of the sharing. No matter what, no matter how dark, no matter how complex, no matter how fear-driven, no matter how little resources that we have, use what you have. My friend Bob Chartoff, the great film producer of LA with all the Rocky movies, one of my dearest friends, I married he and his wife, he always encouraged me, Alan, low budget does not mean cheap. Low budget does not mean cheap. Do what you need to do to create your protest love song on the budget that's appropriate for you. The lower the better, the lower the better, the lower the better. Do it because it's so real that you cannot live by not doing it. And so I'm up last night doing my 6th wish. Everyone should add a 6th wish to the 5 wishes. What is undone? What is undone in my life that I want to do before I die? What's my Nina Simone? The time is now for my protest song. It's time for me to use my voice to stand up, to share that love to the world, and do just as Miss Arundhati Roy said, be a collective pain in the ass to the masses, right? Being unpopular. Well, just get the vaccination and stop being a murderer. I don't want to put the drug in my body. I like good drugs. I don't like bad drugs. Sugar, bad drug. Cholesterol, bad drug. Real estate, bad drug. Greed, bad drug. Money, sort of bad drug, right? Give me more, bad drug. Fentanyl, bad drug. Cocaine, sort of good with the right person, but generally speaking, with an aortic aneurysm, they say bad drug. Good drugs, THC, CBD, DMT, MEO, psilocybin, LSD, oxygen, Dhamma. Good drug. The more you do, the more you want. Love songs, protest songs. Okay, rise up into, and I told Dennis, I found a word the other day on the beach, I saw him. I found the word to the story that I want to tell. War, I said. I would never have expected I would use that word. He immediately said, how do you spell that backwards? And he said, R-A-W. And today he sent me a text that said, raw war. And that's right. That is my love protest song. There's something in me. It's not about a modern day version of Joseph Campbell's, the hero's journey. Yes, it's got some of that. Or the wounded healer's journey. Blah, blah, blah. It's not about adventure. It's not about overcoming obstacles. It's not about vulnerability and the beauty and the power of weakness and struggle. It's not going to make it all better. It's about right now. Man, I'm hearing depopulation. I'm hearing global genocide. I'm seeing my brothers and sisters in Burma. And it's like, whoa, man, in Afghanistan. And the next thing you know, the brown shirts are in our own village, in our own home, in our own phones. It's like, what in the hell are they doing here with this mandate to mandatory vaccinate? Is that like the Vietnam draft, where if you do not go to the front lines and learn to kill, or be killed, we will imprison you? That was the message of our president at the time. And either you flee to Canada or you kill. Either you get a vaccination or you're going to be what? In a detention camp? You're going to be ostracized by the world, never fly again, never work again, never meditate again, never even love again, never have effect. What in the hell is going down here with the mandate of mandatory? Isn't that totalitarianism, biological totalitarianism? Isn't that forever war? And we're learning here with Vietnam, just like the fall of Kabul and Afghanistan, how many years and decades later, yet again, isn't that image of 1975 with the helicopter flying over the American embassy in Saigon City identical to what we see in Kabul today? Is history what we're learning yet again that we never learned from? What in the hell is going on in the name of freedom? Kill or go to jail. Kill or be determined to be seen as unfit to be a civilized human being in the world. That's perversity. We felt it in 1966, 7, 8, 9, 70, 71 until there was no longer a draft. But the wars continued. And they used more manipulative propaganda to incite the need for the Americans to go kill. And look at 20 years later and $2 trillion and how many thousands of men and women in the American armed forces, in the European forces, in the Canadian and the Australian forces, the Afghan forces, who've been killed in the name of a lie. And look at what is happening today. And so the only thing I've got left, is my Nina Simone. I hope the day comes when I will be able to sing more love songs. Yes. I sound like my mom and dad when I was a teenager. I wish we had the life that you had. We had to go and make a hard determination, Alan, to stand up and fight. We called it war, son. We didn't want it. We didn't love it. We didn't like it. But we had to enter raw war. And I'm going like, wow, this is an unrestricted war today that's so different than anything I've ever known or imagined. I did not wake up this morning thinking that I would even think these thoughts, much less express them. This is completely spontaneous. I'm just thinking, what in the hell? All based upon an aneurysm, waiting for a CTA scan result to get possibly an exemption letter to get a lethal vaccine because I basically have a fatal heart disease, to avoid getting possibly a fatal infection, to fly. It's all I want to do is rise before I die and create. This is my final thing here today. I want to get into creative possibility. I'm thinking like, what do you want to do? And what I want to do is something I've never done before, because I like audiences. I like group spaces. It's not performance as much. I like the energy and the synergy of holistic engagement with other. I like the heartbreak of a group space. I like the honesty and the wholeness of the whole. It's the glory of an open heart shared by fractions of 100,000 million people in this universe. There's something about being born again and again in the improvisational naturalness of the spontaneous, crazy, inarticulate Van Morrison speech of the aneurysm heart. I want to do what I haven't done yet, which is what? I want to be so unpopular. I want to do exactly what Miss Roy suggested the role of the writer, the artist, the creator is. We must become so unpopular that we're willing to what? Well, it's more about the willing to express. And I'm going to do what I can do. I'm making a vow to myself, drawing a line in the sand of my own apathy, my own postponement. As you can see here, I've got a number of different desks. I write, I create day and night. Last night, I'll just conclude here. Last night, I chose to just kind of stay home. I talked to a very dear friend of mine, an artist, an actress in Australia, a performer, known her for years. We got down in the artistry of rad, quirky, existential, sexy, artistic expression, okay? And just liking to play in those really wild dimensions of dark, erotic, trans-pornographic, Nina Simone-like artistic. We both love Nick Cave, you know, just fucking, oh children, push the sky away. And I'm thinking like, you know, I want to create a spirituality that defies categorization. I want to get so crazy in this film that I want to write. That's what I'm doing. I'm writing a film called Raw War, Reflections on Peace. Thank you, Dennis. Raw war. Obviously, you might think war is always raw, but who knows? But I want it so raw that it's naked, that it's sexy, that it's so rich in the rubiness of darkness. The shadow is so bright with possibility. And I want to create 36 scenes on paper and draw them. I like drawing. I like putting collages together and poetry together. I want to create a film, Raw War, Reflections on Peace, and tell a story. Tell a story where I direct, I create, and I'm right in the center of the storytelling montage of transformational, revolutional voice, Simone, love song, protest, Arundhati Roy, that it's so unpopular, makes me so unpopular, no one watches it. I don't know what kind of demand that is, but yes, no. What I mean by unpopular is that you want Alan to say the truth of how you think. All those little sacred secrets that no one really knows about your life. Embody those things with rad, revolutionary conscience and courage and dignity, and bring out the essence of your protest by telling the truth of how you really think and feel. And that's where I'm at right now. And so, despite all the narratives that they want to mind grab us into, vax, unvax, this or that, it's the Vietnam War on repeat. We protested the war. We protested mandatory murder is really what it came down to. I don't want to commit suicide with a vaccination. Maybe it takes a month, maybe it happens in a minute. I don't want microclots in my blood. I'm going to stay alive barely a little bit longer, they tell me. I've chosen non-surgery. They call me I'm a ticking bomb on a short fuse. They tell me it's dissecting, that I'm bleeding inside now. And I fucking refuse to participate in the fear of that narrative. Who cares, right? We're living in an extinction moment. I believe in the existential, the luministic, the luminosity of love. But I want to do my Nina Simone. And so I'm in this process. This is my way of kind of getting closer and closer to that poetic scream in me. I want to write, and I'm going to write, just to make a public announcement here. I'm going to write a film that's going to be filmed quietly. It's going to be a one-person storytelling monologue, sharing with the attributes of the visual, the poetic, and the musical. I want it to be really something you want to watch on acid, something you want to watch on the mushroom, something you want to watch and feel. Like full immersion. Clockwork Orange, like full immersion. Magic Christian, full immersion. All's Quiet on the Western Front, full fucking immersion. Jesus of Nazareth, full immersion. I want to feel something, and I want to create that Nick Cave moment for me of pushing the sky away. I want it to be something that gives hope. I want something that inspires the fire of protest in each of us. I want, no matter what happens to our bodies and our lives and our countries and the earth, I want us to know that we lived in the existential rebellion of high order transformational revolution. So this is my declaration of personal truth. I have no idea what I'm on the edge of. It's been a provocative couple of days. The hospital is provocative, the Delta is provocative, the disinvitations are provocative. The pornography of misinformation is provocative. The genocide of democracy in my beloved Burma is provocative. The fall of Afghanistan, where I've been to Afghanistan, is provocative. The fear for the girls and the boys to be raped by the Taliban is sickening provocative. And it's Nina, thank you, Nina. I hope the day comes when I will be able to sing more love songs, she said, when the need is not so urgent to sing protest songs, but for now I don't mind. And so Raw War is going to be my protest song. And it's coming soon. And thank you for being in my life. Thank you for participating in my journey. And I just wanted to lose it today and share from the depth of my crazy, wild psyche passion. So from my heart to yours, thank you for tuning in. And God willing, hope to see you tomorrow here from Hawaii, 9:30 in the morning. Have a great day.